Okay, I'm going to now go into biasing methods. Before going into biasing methods, let me introduce a notation which I'm going to use throughout this lecture series. So this is an introduction to notation. So this is about how to what kind of notation I'll be using for AC signals, purely AC, purely DC signals, and AC plus DC signals. Okay, AC plus DC signals. This is what basically, how do I represent each of these? So if I write a quantity, let's say a current, as a capital I with a capital subscript, right? Like capital I, capital C, or a capital V and a capital subscripts like capital V, capital BE. So basically, this represents DC quantities. Whereas if I use just simple I, simple letters and simple subscripts. So for example, simple V, simple BE. These are just purely AC quantities. There is no DC part. There is no average. Average is 0. AC quantities. DC equals 0. Whereas if I use simple letter and a capital subscript, simple I, capital C, or simple V, capital BE, that has both DC as well as AC quantities. Now, this is the total instantaneous value. Total instantaneous value. Okay, and there is one other option also, capital I, simple B, simple C. So capital letter and a simple subscript. Capital V, simple B, kind of like this. So these are basically phases. What are phases? These are basically steady state sinusoidal signals, just sinusoids, whose amplitude or the RMS value is represented as this. Okay, so this is only for steady state. So most of our things that we do here, we don't need this. All right. Okay, with that, let me move on to the next section, which is basically on uh, biasing methods. So we took that what biasing is in the previous lecture, previous part, and what are biasing methods. Okay, so the simplest method that we can use is called the direct biasing, where you have this previous circuit that we looked at, the RC, the transistor goes into the ground, and you had the bias base. So this is plus VCC RC. So you had base collector emitter, you have IB, and so these currents are there. Let me not mark them for the time being, and because these are basically both. Let's assume for the time being we don't have a signal connected, in which case this will be capital letters. But in order to have a signal, so the biasing, what we want is to make sure that even when you don't have a signal, input signal, we want to have a current flowing in the base circuit, right? So the easiest method that you can achieve that is by connecting a resistor to the base from the already existing battery. So let me call this R1. So what happens now, you can connect an input signal but make sure that you connect it through a capacitor, because otherwise what's going to happen is the signal may have a DC component which might interfere, DC component which might interfere with the current that you have established in the base biasing circuit. Okay, so for that we'll talk about it in a bit more detail later, but for the time being it's like this. So what we have is only a DC. So as long as you don't have an AC source, let's so this is my current, the same current that I have here, I1, will flow through this, which we call IB. So you note that I have used both capital letters. This will be IC, this will be IE. This will be a DC quantity VCE, and this is VBE. Okay, base emitter. Okay, all these are, so this is like 0.7, this is like 0.7 volts. But any current that flows through this, if you connect a signal source, will be a purely AC. That's why you can write it as simple I, simple B. So the total current that might flow through the base circuit BE will be capital IB plus simple IB, which is what we mark as simple I, capital B. Okay. So for the time being, we don't have an input, so we have IB is equal to 0. So simple IB is 0. So simple I, capital B is equal to capital I, capital B. So we can write when no input voltage is connected, capital IB or the DC component flows into the base and make the BE junction forward bias. VBE equals 0.7 volts, assuming silicon diodes, silicon NPN diode. And IB, therefore, if I want to calculate IB, if I want to calculate IB, what do? I need to apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law to this circuit from here to here. Okay, because this, of course, is a battery, so it's basically including that. You can like that. So what do I have? I have the voltage here, this voltage. I have this voltage, which is I1 is equal to IB, so therefore IB times R1, so I1 equals IB. That's this voltage. So this I VBE plus IB R1 is equal to VCC. So therefore IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by R1. So IC, assuming this is in active linear region, obviously, is equal to beta IB. And again, applying Kirchhoff's voltage law in CE, or the output loop, that is this one. This loop. Okay, so if I apply that, what do we have? I have this voltage VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. Those are the two things that you have. So therefore, let me write VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE. I can write VCE therefore is equal to VCC minus ICRC is equal to VCC minus beta times IBRC is also equal to VCC minus beta times IB is basically we found beta IB there. VCC minus VBE over R1, that is IB times RC. So that's my VCC minus beta RC over R1 VCC plus beta RC over R1 R VB. So that's 1 minus beta. So you can simplify this. So that's your VCE. Now, since there is only a DC source, that is VCC, and there is no input connected separately, there is only a DC current, and any other current that we supply or voltage that we supply to the base will be on top of this. So we call this the bias or the bias current, or the call this the quiescent condition. Quiescent condition. This is a bias condition. Right? This condition that is VCE, IC, and IB, the DC quantities, is called the quiescent condition. Because of this Q, we typically use to emphasize this fact Q, VCE Q, IC Q, and we typically opt out this IB and Q point. We also call this the Q point. Q point is the same as quiescent condition, which is also the same as DC condition. So this is basically what we, this is not the nomenclature. This is what we call this DC condition.